Parashat Va'eira. So early in the week we discussed the idea that each plague was different, and specifically that the plague of dam, of blood, did not occur in Paro's house. That is actually based on the words of the pasuk. If we can go back, it's Perek Zayin, pasuk Chav Gimel, where it says, if you remember this from early in the week, that'll be great. Vayifen Pare turned away. Vayavel Beisa, he came to his house. V'loishos liboy gam lazos. He ignored the situation that was going on in Egypt. So right away, what we spoke about, the Medrash seems to say that he ignored the situation in Egypt because he didn't feel it himself. Didn't bother him. He walked into his palace, and his palace had fresh, running, clean water. So it didn't bother him what everyone else is doing. And it says, twice it says, V'loishos liboy gam lazos. He came to his house and didn't listen also to this. Rashi says, what does also mean? Also adds on that he ignored not only the plague itself, but as we spoke about early in the week prior to the plague, Moshe and Aaron brought special signs and miracles to show that they were real. So he ignored the plague because he didn't feel it. He had water in his house, and he ignored the original stuff as well, those special signs and miracles that they performed. This is a lesson for all of us that the Torah said to us. It's easy to feel something when you're in the street dealing with someone else. But when you go into your own home, some people, sadly to say, lose that feeling of empathy for others. Thankfully, many of us are watching this, and we had a successful, healthy last few months. We weren't directly affected. But when we hear someone is directly affected, we have to empathize to the level of where it bothers us to a certain point where we cannot just look away. So we go into our own homes. We cannot be like Pare and say, we are safe within our own home and don't worry about the rest of the world. The famous story is that the rich person had a knock on his door, and he came outside on a cold night, and the rabbi was standing there, and the rabbi said, I want to talk to you about a very important situation going on in my school. We have to raise funds. And the rich person tells the rabbi, yeah, come inside, we'll get a cup of coffee. No, I have to tell you what's going on. We have to raise money for this. We're also supporting people who are widows and orphans. We need to speak to them. He goes, Rabbi, it's freezing outside. Please come inside my house and we can have the same discussion. And he's saying, no. In front of the person says, what is your problem? Why can't we have this conversation inside? It's the same conversation, same words, same everything. And the rabbi says, because I want you to feel what it means to be cold and hungry and tired. And if we go inside your warm room and you give me a coffee and we're having the same conversation, there will not be the same empathetic feeling toward that. We ourselves is something we have to work on constantly. It's not something naturally a person goes into his own home, he closes his door. Thankfully, he has a great house in Shalom Bayis and raising successful children, but he loses a little bit of what's going on outside the street. One of the things that we have to work on during the pandemic, because we were all locked into our own homes, is not to be locked in the negative way that Paro did of ignoring what goes on in the rest of the world. We have to go inside and work on ourselves to see empathy. We're all part of one nation. Klal Yisrael, we are all related to each other. And that's an important thing to work on. So one of the ways the Jews survived the exile is by being one great unit with each other. We have to have that now as well. The Achdus will bring the Geula. Hopefully we'll have Mashiach. By the time you get to this video, we will all celebrate it in Yerushalayim with Mashiach's here. Have a great Shabbos.